these awesome robot fights, but no, I never do. It's just 2.5 hours of people having too many moments. It's just awful. Oh, we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Wargamers Hangout number 31. I've got Dan here joining us. What are you working on, Dan? How you doing?
Just chilling, hearing about your Transformers woes. I recently put together, well, a Ostwind Panzer tank. Well, I mean, this is kind of like, you know, I got some of that. But I got the chassis, which is important. Chassis. How do you pronounce that? I don't know. But anyways, it's going to be a sweet orc-looted battle wagon.
I'm assuming you mean chassis.
Chassis, yeah. I think that's what I said at first. Then double, triple guessed myself.
Bit of a random side note. I totally saw the movie Patton the other night. Way better 2.5 hour movie than Transformers. It's like, man, that would have been an awesome grandfather to have. Let's see here. So we actually have a pre-show question from Mandragora. It says the Warmachine animation is Haley 1 versus Denegra 1. That's Escalation, which is the same era as Tactics. Tactics Prime 3 in 1066. Is Privateer Press hurting itself starting at the beginning instead of current era? Dan?
I've never really liked their stories very much, but I enjoy seeing warjacks come to life, so I like the animation.
That's fair. I don't know that it hurts them just because there's nothing stopping them from jumping forward or jumping back or doing whatever they want. So, I mean, I don't think they're required or locked in to stay linear on it for what it's worth.
That's true. That's true. Although you're talking about Patton, have you ever seen the movie Kelly's Heroes?
No, I have a lot of war movies to catch up on. I've, like, ever since getting back to Wargaming, I've just, like, loved these historical movies. But, I mean, I was in my 20s before I saw, like, Full Metal Jacket or Platoon. I remember watching the movie Tropic Thunder and being like, this movie's great, but I didn't get most of the references. I can't wait to watch it again so I can be like, I know where that's from. So, no, I haven't seen Kelly's Heroes. But I did watch Tour of Duty.
I have not seen that. But Kelly's Heroes, it's like one of the best. Like, by far, one of the best. It's so good.
All right. I'll have to give that a shot.
Got Donald Sutherland. What's with the negative waves?
I remember Donald Sutherland from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
He was in Buffy?
Yeah, he's the Watcher.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
It's been so long.
All right, so a few things here. CID dropped yesterday, today, recently. So there's a whole bunch of new rules, a whole bunch of new changes to models. And yeah, I saw Apocalypse Now, although as a film buff, I've seen too much behind the scenes, and it was a really cruel movie. But I digress. Anyway, yes, card developments. They've added to the card database, which I appreciate. They now have Privateer now has a online database that you can cross-reference to see which card version you're on for your miniatures now. So I guess that's probably helpful for a lot of people. A couple things on the core rules, but it didn't seem like very much. They just changed the base size thing. Quick question from an audience. Dude, Harvey Savage asks, "What? Any suggestions on which of the $40 boxes to start with?"
I don't know. Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Pick what looks good. Play it until you figure out what you want. Sell it. Buy what you really want.
Depending on who you're talking to, that's the best advice or the worst advice ever.
I'm just happy I get to use these guys again.
Yeah, so we can start with Storm Striders on the dynamic updates. So one of the first dynamic updates was a big thing that they changed on the Storm Strider. First off, the number of hitboxes it has increased. What did you say it had before? 22?
22.
So it went from 22 to 28. It lost the kinetic accumulator special rule and instead has this build-up rule, which means that it gains D3 power tokens if the model advances during its normal movement. It can have up to 3 power tokens on it at any given time, and during its activation, the model can spend power tokens to do all the same stuff it always does. And it is also now a conductor, which means that if you have your Storm triangulation dudes, you can triangulate through the Storm Strider. That's probably pretty cool to you Signar and Swan people.
Yeah, so in Mark 3, they updated it to give it a stomp melee attack that also had electro leaps. But they updated it so you couldn't boost on the leaps. So the D3 leaps that happen are unboostable. So it's just POW 10s, you can't do anything about it. Well, I mean, you can shoot the Silver Line gun and have a Firefly nearby to make them POW 14 bounces. And you can have Nemo 3's feet to make it POW 14 boosted bounces. But I digress. So they took away the ability to boost it. Or just don't die with Nemo's feet. So it's like it was like okay, whatever. It's decent, but now it's because it would never really got power tokens before. It never did because no one was stupid enough to shoot it. Because why would you do that?
Well, there was like a theme force, wasn't there, that allowed you to have it full?
Yeah, with Haley back in Mark 3, but it wasn't. It was all right. It was all right, but it wasn't the greatest. However, now it's you either get power token or you aim. So you aim to shoot, or you move and get D3, and then you can boost to shoot, and then get within that 10 inches to be able to get the +2. I don't know. They just seem really good right now, and I'm very excited to try them out. And with that extra 6 boxes, it's like oftentimes people get them just down low and barely kill them. Now they'll have to dedicate another big punch to kill them, so they'll be a lot more survivable. And yeah, and they'll absorb more damage too, because people won't be afraid to shoot them as much. They'll be able to wear them down on turns, and so they'll not be shooting the rest of your army instead of just getting one shot. You know. I don't know. So, I'm excited for them. I already love them, and I already play with them a bunch, but now they're better. So I already played this list with double Stormstriders way before anything came out. I'm just saying. I'm ahead of the curve.
Were you part of the CID? Did you vote this in? Is this your fault?
With the CID, I was very excited because I love battle engines and I like playing with them, but they're not very good. But now they're decent.
Nice. Well, what else has happened? The Vessel of Judgment, I believe that's Protector. It's battle engine. Yeah, it got changed to the subtype, which I guess they're adding subtypes for whatever reason. It now has 32 damage boxes. You reduce the range of Divine Wrath to 12, and you gain the reload special rule to Divine Wrath. So those all seem probably pretty good. Does anybody use is that commonly used in Menoth, the battle engine?
Mark 2 is decent.
Mm-hmm.
Just with Jax getting a whole lot cheaper and the battle engine not getting cheaper, no one really used it.
Fair enough. And it doesn't look like they reduced the points cost of it at all. They just are presumably just trying to make it more desirable to play with, which it'll be worth mentioning the new theme forces that have been added in a bit. Let's see here. What else have we got here? Kador. All right, now that's the important one. Let's take a look at that. Minor change to Supreme Commandant Irisk, where you have to be completely within his AoE for the ability to gain cover in Artifice of Deviation. Oleg, anybody with the Overrun spell got some cleanup to that. So Commander Strakov with his extra dudes, the Assault Commandos, I guess they gain reposition 5 and gain stealth while in position, I guess, for quiet advance. So there you go. And now the gun carriage. They actually did reduce the points cost of that one down to 17. I don't remember what it was before. I want to say it was 18, but I don't remember. It has 38 hitboxes. So take that, Stormstrider. And the range of the heavy cannon has been reduced to 10 because it's Kador. And they changed some major stuff as far as the impact thing. They really want you impacting and running in with this thing a lot. So you no longer, it has the crushing weight rule, which now means you don't have to move at least 3 inches to make impact attacks. And you can make an impact attack each time you contact a model for the first time during your charge. It also has Line Breaker, which means that models gain additional die on impact attack rolls. So your likelihood of hitting is way up.
It's quite good now. It got like way better. It lost its ability to trample and shoot, which was like, a really good thing it did. But now it's just beefy. It's a lot of boxes to remove, and it kind of just gets in there and just starts hurting everybody.
Yeah, no, that does seem interesting. I'm hoping, and it does seem like with these changes, they're really trying to bring battle engines up into the fore to have people use them finally. I've still never bought a battle wagon, so maybe I should get around to that at some point, because it does actually look like it's probably pretty fun to play right now.
It's got horsies.
Well, but I can't. We talked about Warhorse. We already did. We had this conversation. No. All right. Yeah, mount gains knockdown. So if you're hit by the mount, you are automatically knocked down. And a model hit by non-impact attacks with the horse is slammed D3 inches directly away. So horses are very powerful. Let's see. What did Cryx get? The sepulcher, however you say it. Sepulcher.
Sepulcher.
Well, you say it. All right, so for the Necro Harvester, range 4 inches. When an enemy or living undead model is destroyed within 4 inches of this model gains the destroyed model's corpse token. When a friendly living or undead faction model destroyed by a continuous effect of an enemy attack or collateral damage of an enemy attack or from an enemy attack within 4 inches of this model gains the destroyed model's corpse token. And it can have up to 3. So I guess it was maybe having trouble getting the corpses before, because I guess it competed with what the like necrotechs and surgeons and all that. Yeah.
Sure. Probably. That sounds right.
Yeah. Let's see. A clattering one. Kind of a deviating question. But Miranda, will you be doing any more Malifaux battle reps? Believe it or not, I actually have a script that's almost done for my next Malifaux battle report. That'll be happening.
I need to make a Malifaux battle report.
You should. I think.
I just have like a handful of guys to paint up, and then boom.
Oh, so it's not happening, is what you're saying? I just have to paint up and prepare, said the grasshopper.
But there's only a few guys.
Maybe you should stick with orcs.
Should be easy. My orcs are nowhere near painted.
Yeah, but I think you're more motivated.
Right now. I just have not a lot of time right now. I don't have a lot of disposable time to put towards hobbying.
Time or money, rarely both, sometimes neither. I know the feeling. Let's see here. Bane Knights had some changes, and their points got reduced. They gained set defense. They gained Wall of Steel. Bane Riders, they had their melee attack ability increased to 7. The range increased on the Bane Blade to 2. And the Curse special rule has been removed, and they now have Vengeance instead. So that sounds like kind of a streamlined approach. Bane Warrior, whatever, points were reduced on that. It's Cryx. They just made it better. Everything got a points reduction. What the heck? Mechanic Thralls, points reduction to 9. 9 points now. Brute Thralls had their defense increased to 12. What was it before? Was it like 10 or something?
Probably 10.
Ugh. That's pretty bad.
I think they gained Shield Guard too.
That might be a Theme Force thing.
I don't think they had Shield Guard before. Unless maybe it was Mark III. I don't know. I've not seen much of Cryx in Mark III. So. Yeah,
neither have I actually. A little bit, but not much. Necro Surgeon and Stitch Thralls. I guess they cleaned up the sacrificial pawn rule a little bit. They made Resurrectionist a little cleaner too, up to 3 corpse tokens from this model to add 1 small base grunt to a friendly thrall unit in this model's command range for each token removed. Place these grunts in formation completely within 30. I don't know, it doesn't seem that different to me. Bane Lord Tartarus, people will be happy. Points cost reduced to 6, and his mat has been increased to 8. Instead of having the Bane, the Curse rule, he now has Veteran Leader Bane, where it says while in this model's command range, other friendly Bane models gain +1 to attack rolls. All the more reason to snipe them out.
And his command's 9, so that's like really far.
Oh, is it? Nice. Yeah, that's pretty good. The Wraith engine. Number of damage boxes increased to 26. It lost the Cleave special rule and gained the Rapid Strike special rule. And by the way, I'm just getting all this off the Privateer dynamic updates off the Privateer website. And this link was even in the most recent Insider. So replace the text. So Rapid Strike, you can make an additional melee attack each combat action. Yay! Retribution of Skyra. It's like Skyrim, except it's not. Anyway.
The Alcantric Force Generator.
Nah. I'm going to check in with the audience first. Tell us how Victor is awesome and wins the game at turn 1. Also, it should be included in the battle box. That feels like a big mislead for new players. Here, this amazing model that nobody else gets. Although I wonder what it'd be like if they included Colossals in like all the starter boxes. They might do that as a version. And it includes like the rules. It includes the rules for the extreme colossal wrestling, just to like say you have 2 games in one. Mandragora says, funny question for Dan. As a Pharaoh player, do you feel cheated and or insulted by the new Grimkin piggybacks? Or are you just laughing until chocolate milk comes out of your nose?
No, I mean they're not really cavalry. And so I've wanted cavalry for my Pharaoh for a long time. And the piggybacks, I mean, the Grimkin just look really cool. I play them a few times, like proxy them, and I do not like their playstyle at all. So I'm happy because I don't have to spend a whole lot of money buying these models. But it's no, I appreciate the models. They're great, but they're more like they're like, you know, they're not true pigs, you know? I mean, they're just piggies that are like, you know, the pig skin and everything. And Pharaohs are like, wow, you know, you got awesome stuff like this. Grimkin can't compare to that. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
So I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous at all.
Scott says, heard an interesting phrase regarding the new Grimkin, referred to as Malifords. Wah, wah. All right, let's go back to the CID stuff. So, Retribution of Syra. Arcantric Force Generator. Increase the point cost to 17. Take that, Retribution. Reduced armor to 18. Oh, man, this one was overtuned. Increase the rate of fire on the Teleforce cannon to 2. And remove the dual shot and range booster special rules. Add the Carapace special rule to the Arcantric Force Generator. All right, so Carapace, this model gains +4 armor against free strike damage rolls and ranged attack damage rolls. That's pretty good.
Yeah, you're not really shooting off the board.
Not so much. Focused power. So the Arcantric Force Generator gains focused power. While within 2 inches of this model, the ranged weapons of friendly warjacks gain +2 range. If this model uses its normal movement to aim, its ranged weapons gain +2 range, and it gains +2 to its range attack damage rolls at activation. So it really is just total weapon platform now. I don't like it. Damage rolls resulting from this attack are automatically boosted. Retribution is always treated so well.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it can't be, I mean, it doesn't have a melee weapon. So, but it does have gunfighter, but not like gun platform. So if you get into melee with it, it has to shoot at you. But you can't charge it because of polarity field. And you can't really shoot it off the board because it's armor 22. So, yeah, that's kind of annoying. And it's going to be mostly range 16. It's going to park itself and then just shoot a couple POW 14s every time. You know, killing. It's going to be a really good gun platform. For 17 points, we'll see if it's worth it, but probably.
Probably, even if it's just one less thing to have to resource manage with your focus. Convergence of Cirrus. Iron Mother Directrix replaces the feat Mathematical Perfection rules to say the base Mat and Rat of models in Directrix battle group are each equal to her focus for 1 turn. I don't know what it said otherwise. The Transfinite Emergence Projector. Increase the number of damage boxes to 23. Still not 38. Let's see. Merc's got a little bit here. Captain Damiano gains reposition to 5. Hammerfall Siege Crawler. Someone was mentioning this in the comments. Reduce the points cost to 18. Increase the number of damage boxes to 40. Come on. That's so broken. Who needs 40 damage boxes? I mean, 38 was one thing. 40 is just complete overkill. That's ridiculous.
And he's over 20. But it'll work for Kador.
Maybe that's what I should get instead, so I don't have to, like, abuse my poor horses.
It'll also work for Signar.
Well, I own Alexia, despite her gray alliances. Let's see here. Added the girded periscope and reinforcement special rule to the siege crawler. So it's girded, which means you don't suffer blast damage as long as you're base to base. Gains periscope. This model can use periscope once per activation at any time. Choose an enemy model in this model's line of sight, and that model loses stealth for 1 round. Wow. Reinforcements. Rulik. During your maintenance phase, return D3 small-based, friendly destroyed Rulik grunts to play. Models return with 1 unmarked damage box. Place the returned grunts completely within the model's command range. Does that work for TAC?
Yeah, it would.
Ooh.
Though the problem with this is that, well, not the problem. It's just good. It's still good. It's always been good. But they, yeah, it's like really hard to kill because there's so many boxes. But the reinforcements is like, nothing really stays back except maybe the attack for the reinforcements.
Well, I say TAC because I happen to own those models.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Clattering One says, it's like they took the Neverborn Dreamer, split him into 2 different warlocks, and it's like, boom, the child and the dreamer. Totally not the same thing. I mean, it's not quite the same thing, but the similarities are hard to mistake, and I will not. I don't believe people who are like, yeah, they were planning that the whole time. Like, yeah, whatever. Everybody looks at each other. It's not even play. Trollblood's got some changes. Some cleanup to Horlock Doomshaper, Shaman of the Gnarls. What have we got going on with the War Wagon? Oh, it's cheap. Reduce the points cost to 16. Increase the number of damage boxes to 38. Well, now 38's just cheapened at this point, so whatever. Increase the power of the Pounder to 17. Add the Crushing Weight and Shooting Gallery special rules. What are those special rules, you ask? Well, with Crushing Weight, when it charges, the model's not required to move at least 3 inches. And you can make, to make impact attacks. Instead of making impact attacks only once, this model can make impact attacks each time it contacts a model. Dan, you need to turn me down over there. I'm hearing myself.
Oh, what?
And Shooting Gallery. This model gains +2 to ranged attack rolls against models within 5 inches of it. That's pretty slick. Remove the Momentum special rule, remove the Trample Power Attack special rule, and add the Knockdown and Ton of Brick special rule. So it's really just the War Wagon, the battle engine that Kador has.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. The Power of the Pounder up to 17 is like, yeah, I think it's better. For sure it's better. I mean, they're all better, but it's like significantly better that I think that you'd see it. I'm excited to see it.
Are you? You think you're down with this? Yeah. Circle or Boros? Oh dear. Circles. Ugh.
Oh, I love the Celestial Fulcrum now. It's cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, what they do here, so they increase the number of damage boxes to 28. All right, that's not too bad. They removed the Fury Generator special rule and instead added the Fury Bank Power of the Stones and Veteran Leader Blackclad special rule to the Celestial Fulcrum. So Fury Bank, the Warlock can just transfer Fury to it. It can have up to 3 Fury on it at any time. Power of Stones, during your control phase, this model can leech Fury from friendly faction construct war beasts in its command range. And Veteran's Leader, while in this model's command range, other Blackclad models gain +1 to attack rolls. All right.
So it's command 10. Blackclads have a spray, so that's really good. So Blackclads are just kind of beefed up. You don't see them a whole lot nowadays. You want to bring it with you know, people who have like the construct guys, and it's just like it's extra fury management. It's like you just get an extra 3 fury every turn because you spend it all boosting, and then every turn you just leech 3 fury from war beasts that you're nearby.
Well, as long as they're constructs.
Well, yeah, that's the kind of list you'd bring it with.
Fair enough. Cool. Well, let's hope we start seeing some more battle wagons. All right, next up we've got Scorne, the Siege Animantrax. The speed has been increased to 8. What was it before?
It was 6, but it could go up to 8 before.
Oh, I see. So they just sort of simplified it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Increase the number of damage boxes to 35 and armor to 20. The range has been increased of the club tail to 2. Remove the third sentence of the Cantankerous special rule, which reads, this model gains +1 speed for each rage token currently on it. I guess that's how it could go up to 8.
Yeah, or it might have gone up to 9 before.
Oh. During its activation.
I think it was 5. Anyways, I mean, it was good before. It had like a lot of potential, but now it's great.
It's better. It's betterer.
Yeah.
Independent attack special rule. During its activation, this model can make its initial attacks with this weapon before it makes its normal movement. Oh, interesting. Lost combo smite and gain knockdown for the club tail. Apparently this one
kind of just auto knockdown on something.
Yeah.
And it was given like the reach, so it's just like, yeah, you can do a lot of fun things with it.
Well, knockdown's scarier in the game. Not that it never was like not terrifying, I guess, but the way you lose tough now is probably makes knockdown a little bit more to deal with. They actually have they've had privateer press comments throughout the CID here, but they mentioned this one was apparently pretty hotly debated. The Animantrax received an increase to its melee output while retaining its ranged presence, being one of the fastest options available in the army and having a very strong melee presence. Carves out a valued niche for this battle engine. So basically they were trying to make sure it did get a pretty good helping of both melee and range. All right, what else have we got here? Legion. Callus has clean up to his Everblight, or to his Overrun spell. The Throne of Everblight. Cost has been reduced to 16. The number
So cheap.
I know. The number of damage boxes increased to 36. The number of tentacle weapons to 4 has been increased to 4. That's creepy. Remove the Bone Picker, Death Feast, and the Feeding special rule, and allow Magic Ability special rule to the Throne of Everblight. So it gains Ice Cage. So that doesn't seem remarkable, admittedly. Maybe
it's Magic Ability 7, and it just gives -2 defense, so that's always good.
If you can hit. Yes, you can hit. I've had my tourney and disappoint me so many times.
I mean, it also has Frostbite, which is Spray 8, POW 12 cold damage, and Spine Burst, which is range 10, POW 10, and then the nearest D3 models also suffer a POW 10.
Spine Burst? That's a horrible name. It's horrible. And again, snacking.
But it's also got Necrophage, which is you can make one magic ability special attack or special action each time it destroys or removes from play one or more enemy models with a melee attack. So as it's killing things, it's flinging spells at the same time. And it's got 4 attacks, and it's Mat 7, POW 16. And it's range 4 on its weapons. So even though it's only speed 5, it does have flight, and it can charge. And so I can just get into things and just start eating away infantry. It can just destroy a unit.
I wouldn't be sad to see Warmachine shift more to just fights with big robots instead of needing quite the amount of infantry we currently need.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you have this, you want to keep your infantry away from it unless it's like really strong infantry.
Maybe my Manowar will find a home against this model.
It's also got snacking, so I mean,
yeah.
you can just, I know, I like it.
No, it seems pretty good.
Minions.
Pretty good. Yes, Minions. Dr. Arcadius had a change to his spell. I don't know what really the benefit of it is. It says, replace the first sentence of the Guardian Beast spell with the following. Once per turn, when an enemy advances and ends its movement within 6 inches of the spellcaster, you can choose a War Beast in the spellcaster's battle group that is in its control range.
So basically, it was you can choose, because when a Guardian Beast is basically you move up, and then a beast triggers and goes and it hits something. But now it's not compulsory. It's just you can choose. I
gotcha. Storm and Drang gained, let's see here. Psychic Apocalypse rules have been changed to enemy war beasts currently in Storm and Drang's control range have their base fury reduced to 1. And you replace the first sentence of Struggle of the Will special rule with the following. Before the start of the game and at the start of each of your maintenance phases afterward, you choose which mind is dominant, Sturm or Drang.
So basically, your opponent will know which one is alive first turn. You can't just first turn, surprise, I'm doing this. It's like, so you just, that's all that is. It's a little thing, whatever. On to the best ones.
Meat Thresher. Ugh. All right, let's see here. Points cost reduced to 16. Number of damage boxes increased to 36. Reduce the rate of fire of the Hailer to D3+1. And increase the power of the Hailer to 13. And you add the volume fire special rule to the Hailer, which means gain +1 attack and damage rolls with this weapon against medium-based models, and +2 to attack and damage rolls against large and huge-based models. Wow.
Yeah. So it's a POW 13 weapon. It used to be 2d3, and now it's just D3+1. So it actually went down in rate of fire because it used to have 2 shots, or I don't know. What am I talking about? Anyways, so but it used to be only POW 11 or POW 12. Anyways, now it's POW 13 and against medium models. It's POW 14 against large. It's POW 15. So I mean, dice -3 on heavy stuff. I mean, more versus Kador, but you know, it can do some decent damage now. That's good, especially with the number of shots it gets. But the fact that it has exhaust fumes.
Let's see here. So they added exhaust fumes and to turn up the heat. So exhaust fumes, when this model advances during its normal movement, for 1 round, other friendly models gain concealment while within 3 inches of this model. Because smog. Love it. So
it's just noxious fumes, but Pharaoh Commandos have Prowl. So if they have concealment, then they have stealth.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So that's sweet. Also, it's speed 6, but it can turn up the heat. And so you take a little damage at the end of your activation, but you get +2 speed. And so there's another speed 8 battle engine.
Oh, nice. It's like Redline for Kador.
Yeah. And but I mean, it's only down to 16 points now, which is awesome. And it has 36 boxes, which is way up there. And it's got bulldoze, so you just get in there. It's got trash. Well, okay, so first of all, whenever it hits something, it knocks it down with its melee weapons. Just always. And wait, did they take away the Thresher it had? Wait a minute.
It doesn't say anything about removing it.
Oh, no, never mind. It's got high impact. So when it makes its initial melee attack, it makes 1 melee attack against each model in its line of sight and melee range. It's friendly info. So it just, whenever it attacks everything. That's just what it does. You want to attack with it? It's a grinding wheel. It just goes, but it's auto knockdown on everything. Mat 6, not amazing, but good. POW 16 knocks you down, and if you're knocked down, you get an additional die on damage. So it's boosted POW 16 against anything you hit, unless they're immune to knockdown somehow.
Yeah, that's too much.
And it's boosted to hit if you're a smaller medium-based model.
All right, Sacral Vault. Its points was reduced to 17. Its damage boxes were increased to 30. Its rat was increased to 6. And they reduced the rate of fire of Spectral Fury to 1. And you replace the text of the Minion's special rule with the following. This model will work for Circle, Legion, and Trollbloods. And gained telemetry. Other friendly faction models gain +2 to magic attack rolls against enemy models in this model's command range. Cool. And then replace the first sentence of Deathly Domination with the following. When this weapon boxes a living or undead, non-warcaster, non-warlock enemy warrior model, you can immediately take control of that enemy model and make a full advance with it, followed by basic melee attack. And then it dies. And you get reload 2. Nice. So all the battle engines got super beefy.
Yeah, so the Sacral, I love the telemetry because all your caster nearby, just all its spells are boosted, or +2, which is huge. You're just like hitting all your spells that you want now, which is really, really cool. And it's I don't know, it's good. Its weapon instead of D3 attacks is 1 attack, but it has reload 2. So you can shoot twice, and it's just good.
Edward said the Sacral Vault would not work for trolls before, so they've since opened up diplomatic ties, and now they kind of have some trade going, and the Sacral Vault is now willing.
They've updated a bunch of theme forces.
So many theme forces. So I noticed there's kind of like a theme going on with the theme forces. They tend to gain like ambush or, I don't know, the upkeep spell. Like you can start the game off with upkeep spells already in play. I've never found that to be particularly useful, but unless there's more danger coming on turn 1, I don't see that there's much value in that theme force.
Before it was good because you used to have to give out your focus or like use your fury to have everyone run, but now that everyone gets a free one, it's not as great. When you have somebody who can upkeep for free or cheaper or whatever, then it's quite useful. But it's not the biggest of deals.
Fair enough. Yeah, so let's jump into those theme forces, actually, if I can find them here, because there are oodles of them. Like, they've really bumped it up. I know there was talk before about how much they're going to have to work to get a ton of theme forces out if they really want to see people using them a whole lot. But Kador gained one, was it Jaws of the Wolf, where enemy models, enemy warrior models, warjacks and warbeasts lose advanced deployment. It's the only negative benefit that Kador has in their theme forces, but I noticed that was kind of a common one. I'm trying to think if there are any other ones that were of importance.
Yeah.
Do you have any theme forces you care about?
I'm on a theme force strike.
Oh, really?
I'm boycotting theme forces. I played in a tournament last weekend, and I had a great time. It was a really good time, and I didn't play any theme forces. I went 2-2, but yeah, I would say at least half the people are playing theme forces. Everyone in the top 8 were playing double theme forces. It was just.
Well, I know we were talking about it a bit when we hung out with the Moose Machine guys, and there's been vocal concern about the strength of theme forces, mostly because of the extra.
Make it balanced by making everyone have tons of theme forces to be able to take everything. But if everyone has a theme force about for everything, why do they even exist? Why don't you just take them all away and then you're all on the same playing field?
Like kind of in the same spot. I don't know. I don't like theme forces that take away from the other. Like I'm fine with you getting bonuses. It always seems like just a key experience whenever the opponent's like, oh yeah, and you can't do this because I brought X theme. It has that similar dirty feel to Hagley 2, where you're like, no, I'll tell you what to activate next. And you're like, there's nothing fun about this at all. And it's just advanced deployment, I realize that, but it's the gateway, is all I'm going to say.
I don't know. I kind of like that because people can abuse advanced deployment and just get in your face really quick, and that's a negative play experience. So you negative their negative play experience. Yeah.
No, that just comes down to making rules better.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I've wondered whether or not it'd be worth having tournaments separated by Theme Force, just Theme Force games versus non-Theme Force games, because I just don't know how well they play together. And I have not gotten in enough games to really give a strong opinion on it, to be fair. But just looking at it on paper, it does seem like it gives you a pretty incredible balance, or incredibly powerful bonus. Dan's just weird, and he always does weird stuff, and he doesn't play like a normal person, so him doing all right doesn't mean much.
I just, it's like the reason why I never play Haley 2. It's because it's not fun for everybody. So why do it?
I mean, does that work if it's like, I don't like playing Cryx because it's a negative play experience, or Circle? If I never had to fight one again, I don't know that it wouldn't be Circle.
Circle's not bad anymore.
Yeah?
No.
I know the former press ganger here was saying that their ability to sling magic, I think it was really reduced. I was like, that's the only thing you can say about it. Everything else is the same. Like, oh no.
Circle's shenanigans aren't as prominent. It's so like Circle is just a lot more straightforward and boring, which is the opposite of why a lot of people played Circle.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, especially in the Theme Forces. I mean, I'm sure some shenanigans still exist, but if you want to play the Theme Forces, very straightforward play. And yeah, I had a good friend completely quit Warmachine and move on, and now only plays Malifaux and a little bit of 40k. And he used to play like top tier, was part of like whatever team, what is those called? WC? I don't know. He went to like world finals in like Poland, I think. And yeah, nice. So, I mean, he was a great player, and he like always top tier player, always won tournaments, all that kind of stuff. And he's just like, no, I'm done. That's what Team Forces are doing to this game. The people are leaving in droves.
Oh, well, because of Theme Forces, or they just aren't willing to stick around for Mark III? Like, do you think it's Theme Forces as the main cause, though?
Well, it's all about the tournament scene in Warmachine. And that's what the community is kind of built around. And so, because Theme Forces are the only way to play it in tournaments, it's and there's like other, the proxy rules and being sticklers on that. And it's just funny because like there's even podcasts that are purely Warmachine, and they're like, oh, we're going to do some Shadow War Armageddon. It's just like, it's just not sustaining itself nowadays. And I mean, I like it as much as I always have. I mean, it's a good game. I like it. It's got some good tactics, but it's always fun to try something else too.
Well, that's true, and we are seeing, as someone mentioned here, as Surreal had said, 8th edition is now out. People are getting into that. Shadow War Armageddon, people have been very excited about. Skirmish games in general are doing really well, which I think is part of why Privateer now announced the Company of Iron, which since our last Hangout I actually looked more into, and I'm on board. I think it's awesome. No warlocks, no warcasters. You're just fighting small bands of dudes against each other. It feels more tactical to me, and I'm hoping it is that way, because that sounds way more fun. Like, warcasters and warlocks are both the worst and best part of Warmachine. You know what I mean?
No assassinations.
Well, yeah, just no assassinations, no game-breaking moment where like bullet time happens. It's just more traditional strategic fighting, I think, is what I'm attracted to about it. I just want to bludgeon something like a normal person sometimes, okay? Is that just too much to ask?
That's understandable. I totally feel you. I do.
And I mean, obviously the timing's pretty good, as Shadow War is out, and it will have been out for several months. I think Company of Iron's coming out in October, I want to say. So, I don't know.
I do gotta say, the card database is awesome.
Now that there's cards in it, yes.
Well, it's there, and you create your own PDFs. And so you're just like, you select a certain number of stuff, and then you fit the page, and you just kind of create a PDF, and it kind of just boom, puts it in, and then you print it off.
Mm-hmm.
And then you make whatever you need to make, and then it's all what you have. And then it's like finally some like free stuff that is useful. And because I remember buying all the cards, and I was like, oh, I gotta buy a new deck. And I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden they're like, we errated half of it, and then this is being changed constantly, and this was ever. I'm just like, why would I ever buy cards again? This is ridiculous. But like with this, it's a good solution of being able to print out your own.
Well, it's probably the best solution they have for anybody who still cares about playing with cards, which I'm one of them. It is a different gameplay experience to me whenever you have cards across the table from you, like you could see your opponent's cards, or you have your cards, and it's just this tactical, or not tactical, but tactile feel of knowing what's on the board. I know a lot of people are fine with War Room, but I don't know.
Okay, so War Room's really good if you're familiar with your army. If you've played it before, you know basically what everything does, and you're kind of just referencing it every once in a while to just verify the rules when you kind of slightly doubt yourself, and then keeping track of damage. But if you're like playing with a new army and you try to play with War Room, it's just so hard to move back and forth and this and that, and it's just constant. And like when you have your caster card right here, I'm like, what spells do you have again? And so cards definitely have their place, and having like, it's definitely much better for newer players. And then you don't have to break the bank either. You just break them off.
That's just a different experience, and I think the card database is nice. I mean, when they first put it out, there were like 4 cards in there. It was concerning to say the least, but now they've got more stuff in there, and you can print it off, and it's nice. It's just I don't know how often we're going to be getting updates where people will have printed out their cards for their whole army, and they're like, I'm good, and then like a month later, there's already some changes to it. Like I could see that being frustrating for people. So, and it's not like you go to the game store and you're like, oh, I just pulled up the PDF. I don't have a printer here at the game store. So it's like you have to kind of prepare ahead of time to go if you're going to use cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better to have them buy ones.
Yeah. I mean, overall, yeah. So.
I'd rather the models actually get, changed and patched up to be more balanced than just, oh well, this is the way it is.
Or the yearly errata like it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know. It feels like a bit of a rough conversion, I guess, to me. But most people, as far as I can tell, just don't care. I mean, more than half the players I meet anymore are just like, oh yeah, I just use War Room, which I'm always like clunky with, but whatever. So okay. That's the main changes, right?
I'm not fully boycotting theme lists. There is one theme list that I built that really kind of, well, let me tell you what's in the list. It's Nemo 2, right? So Nemo 1's good because his feat does damage to all their warjacks and war beasts and disrupts a bunch of warjacks. And he can extend his control area, and he can get tons of focus, and he's great. Nemo 2, he doesn't do a whole lot. His thing is everyone gets 3 focus, but everyone already gets 1 focus. And so it's updated, but it's not as good. It's like everyone gets 2 focus instead of 3. So it's just his feat isn't as impactful anymore. But he's got Veteran Leader Stormsmith. So any Stormsmith model gets +1 to attack rolls while he's within 9 inches of him. So I thought, let's make a Stormsmith army in the Storm Division rules so I can get as many free models as I can, because it's going to be a terrible list.
Oh my gosh.
So we got Dynamo, because he's great. Electrical gun, shooting things. He is not a Stormsmith model, but whatever. We got 2 Fireflies, because we got a lot of electrical damage. We're going to give a plus to that. We got 2 Stormstriders, because Stormstriders are Stormsmith battle engine. All right? So they go with the Rat 7. And if someone's within 10 inches of them, they're Rat 9. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow, that was pretty good, actually.
Then we have 9 Stormcallers. because there's FA3, but you get 3 for 5 points, and you just have all of them. And it really sucks because he used to make them POW 12, and now they're just POW 10, and they really don't get better at all. And they're really kind of crappy still. But that is a potential of 27 storm calls per turn.
It really doesn't feel like you're trying to sell anybody on this list.
But all the POW 10s, or with Fireflies, POW 12s. It could be really good. It's not going to be really good. It could be decent. It's
really good against high defense, low armor, infantry, if that's all your opponent brings at all.
You get your POW 12s in there. That could be decent. And then you bring your storm towers, right? And then, they're only Rat 6, but they go up to Rat 9 as well. And so boom, 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 boom. Like Electroleaps everywhere. It's like, really, I need this to... It's not a good list at all. It's got Stormsmith Grenadiers. They're terrible. I bought them because they looked cool, but I never painted them because their rules are terrible. But anyways, so it's just a whole lot of Stormsmiths. Every Stormsmith thing you could possibly bring. And you get like 15 free points, 16. And it's still a terrible list. But that is how I am using my Storm Division. That is how I can get behind those theme lists. Because it's just like fun. Not this power gaming crap.
So Company of Iron comes out in October.
Does it? October?
October.
All right. Well, I guess we're having a game then.
That's right.
You prepared to lose again?
Well, we'll see.
What are we going to bring? Bring a Signar? Or are we going to bring pigs? Or gators?
Oh my gosh. Just all of them. Just one of each.
Wait, does Company of Iron not have Warjacks or Warbeasts then? No,
you can have light Warjacks, which I don't know how they're doing that for Kador.
Kador gets no Warjacks.
I know. It's like, apparently not. So, but yeah, as I understand it, you can bring light Warjacks and Warbeasts. So maybe Kador will get an exception to that. And they'll just allow Berserkers, which explode.
I wonder what the Fury or Focus Management would be if there's no...
I wonder if you're going to end up following Jack Marshall rules. Like, everything has to be Jack Marshall, would be my guess.
Oh, yeah, that could make sense.
Right? I hope they do campaign stuff, too. That could be very exciting, because one of the cool things for anybody who... And I think it applies to people who really like the Shadow War Armageddon, or people who like Malifaux, to an extent anyway. The ability to kind of roleplay with your characters a bit and build them up, like more time, actually. And so... I don't know.
It's good to have... I mean, they already had a version of that for Warmachine, but we tried playing it, and it just... I don't know. It requires commitment. A bunch of people playing together. But the good thing about like the more time is it doesn't require everybody's commitment. You just kind of play as you go, and if you play your team more, you get more experience. But if you play against another experienced team, then you can get more experience even if you lose. So it all kind of evens out a bit more. Not everyone has to be perfectly balanced. So hopefully they have something along those lines with the Company of Iron. That's what it's called.
Company of Iron, yes. Well, and it was confusing because I was looking it up a while back, and I guess it was an old, like, what is it, season event for Warmachine. You know how they have the events constantly happening, like the Scars of Cain and other ones, which I never really got super involved with. And so Company of Iron was the name of one of them. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Why is this years old? And then, oh, right, board game. It's different. So if you look it up, you want to look up a board game. Siege Engine is also a Kador mercenary. Yes, sir, it is. So yeah, I don't know. I think the highlight overall, like, I'm glad that the battle engines are getting love. I think that was long needed. I know people were talking about that in Mark II. Nobody cared about bringing battle engines that much except to have something else big that they didn't have to put focus on. So hopefully this kind of, I don't know. I want to see bigger things on the table. I want to see a fight with more robots and less monsters, or infantry, I should say.
Well, I'll have to do a game or 2 or 5 or 10 with my double Storm Striders. We're gonna just blow everything up. I'm excited for like POW 19 boosted shots. Oh, POW 19 boosted additional die. POW 19 4 dice damage shots. 4 of them. And it's not, and like they were like rat 8. It's not even that hard to do.
My goodness.
Feet turn, your army evaporates.
Maybe if I get the Kador battle engine and just attach a bunch of gears to my horses, I can pretend they're mechanical horses. Because it has a whole bunch of mount rules now. You can't just put anything else on there.
Well, I told you my friend put an orc death roll up in front of where the horses would go, and so it's just like this big grinding wheel, which is totally a ripoff of this beauty.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't pigs have one?
But it kind of keeps the same spirit of it. So that would also be a cool conversion. But I mean, horses are important. They're important to die for us instead of us.
Why is that?
Because we are more important than horses. We have more advanced brains.
You didn't watch War Horse.
I did.
No heart.
I did watch War Horse. It was terrible. I also watched this crazy in our Bollywood action scene where like 20 horses like fall on their necks, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure half of those horses just died. But it was for an action scene in Bollywood, so.
Yeah, there's a few scenes in Patton where you're like, I know this was done before the no animals were harmed in the making of this film like statement ever went on to movies. And Apocalypse Now has that. I know where they kill the ox or whatever it was. That's real. And you're like, ugh.
No, I'm actually not for the harming animals. I can't. I just can't. I've always wanted to go hunting and kill something and eat it. Just never done it. One day, maybe.
Just out there hunting in the mountains with your flip-flops and like
like
a bow and arrow.
Well, yeah. How else am I going to do it? I'll hunt your horses, Miranda. So they won't die in war. They'll die to me.
Wow. On that plucky note, we should probably go ahead and wrap things up. Let's see. Scott has painting to do. Yes. So do I. My models have still been sitting here since last time. I would have painted tonight, but I was busy reading rules and, changes. Important news and updates. I wouldn't know if I wasn't sharing, so it's good to follow it. But yeah, I'm glad again battle engines are getting focused on. I think they have been horribly ignored forever. And the card database, like you mentioned, Dan, is also a pretty positive thing. So I guess a lot of people, they also kind of bundled stuff together. So if you got like the Kador Army box or the Kador Battle Group starter box or the 2-player Warmachine box, like they have just all the cards in there for that. So you don't have to actually put it together.
Yeah, if you have no idea what you're doing, they got
it's just bundles. Maybe that's how they'll start doing the card like updates. People can just when you put out net lists, it'll actually just be like the set of cards.
They'll probably just have the cards that are updated separate, I would imagine.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe. Who knows? Anyways, all is good in the world. Still gaming, still painting. Well, moderately. And just still smiling. So it's all good.
Yay!
Still drinking chocolate milk.
Excellent. Hoping to get a guest on in a couple of weeks here too, so stay tuned. I guess we'll be back in 2 weeks, which will be whatever it is, the week after 4th of July. So have a happy and awesome Independence Day for everyone in the States here. It's the best holiday.
And happy Canada Day this weekend.
Woo!
Best weekend ever.
Yeah, happy 4th of July. Right then, so thank you everybody for watching, and yes, I've got what is it, Malifaux in the works right now. The script's being written, so shouldn't be that much longer. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.